Hi, Year 9. Thought I'd give you a treat and see your teacher. I know you're pining for school and you're probably scratching on the door. Right, week beginning the 11th of May 2020. First thought for the week is globalisation. Take something like COVID-19, globalisation is quite negative, isn't it? Well, that's the thought over. Right, what I want to do for this week is I want to run through all the work I've set you so far. The 3 lessons this week, I'm going to allow you time to consolidate, complete the work and get it into me. Some of you have been doing more than others because you've kept in contact with me online, but I know some have struggled with various parts. So I'm going to go through this really quickly. What I suggest you do with this video is you pause it as and when you have to, and you go away, upload what you need to upload, listen to what I'm saying, then get the work done, then replay and go over the next bit, etc, etc, etc. So we started this whole process on the 23rd of March. We were doing a recap on development dynamics. Lesson 1, okay? You should upload Word document online 9.1a development mind map. And basically all the answers you need for this are going to be what you've done already in your course, and you'll be able to get some online, etc, etc. What you're doing is you're drawing a mind map with it's on the sheet with development in the center. Then there are arms coming off this that go to what is it, and there are various questions for you to answer there. It points to population pyramids, asks various questions, and obviously wants to know how they will change if we look at a developing, an emerging or a developed country. The third one is split into categories, and this will be based generally on HDIs, from life expectancy, pupil-teacher ratios, etc, etc. Number 4 is reasons for inequality. So why, for instance, is Uganda a developing country whilst the UK is a developed country? What leads to this? One thing that would help is revision guide, if you do possess this book, pages 16 to 20. Now, if I haven't done so already, what I will do after uploading this video is I will photo those and put them on OneDrive so those that haven't got their books can access them anyway. Lesson 2, using the revision workbook, okay, you were tasked with doing the whole of exercise on page 16, which is what is development. Just bear in mind there's a guided question there, number 3, which starts the answer for you and you complete the rest of it. And you do number 17, development differences, with a guided question at number 3.1. You then turn to pages 122 to 123 and you mark your work, you purple pen it, and you highlight any keywords or key evidence that you want to stand out so you make it into a revision resource. Lesson 3, okay? You go to the Word document online 9.2 development theories, which is basically a sheet for you to fill in, which focuses on Rostov and Frank and their 2 different theories of development. The revision guide, once again, on page 18 would help you here, and I'll upload that page. The worksheet says you have to draw the model of that actual theory, you have to explain it, you have to discuss related problems. In other words, why does it collapse? What's the problem with it? Okay. On the 30th of March, and can I just say to you here, please pause the video at any point, go away and complete the work, then come back to the video for the next part. Use this as a resource over the next 3 lessons. 30th of March, lesson 1. You're loading up PowerPoint online 9.4 top down and bottom up. You're going to produce a mind map around top down and bottom up schemes. So using your own notes, the internet if you want, and the revision guide, pages 19 to 20, okay, you're going to look at this, this video and tell us the differences between the 2. Bear in mind here, of course, that we looked at Three Gorges Dam in China, and on slide 9, you'll be able to watch that video anyway. And we also looked at Astra biogas. Try to remember that, about the fact that girls were missing schooling in India because they were going out to collect firewood. So the aim to get kids back, or girls rather, back into school was to give them some form of heating and cooking gas in their houses. Cows were a sacred animal, not being killed, but they were dropping droppings everywhere. So these droppings are collected, put in the astro biogas tank, produce methane, and obviously that can be used in the houses. Okay, lesson 2. You went to the revision workbook again, okay, and it was page 19, types of development, and there's a guided question at 3.1 and 3.2. You went to revision workbook page 20, approaches to development, and you looked at a guided question there, number 3 as well. So in other words, with the guided questions, when it starts to answer, you just add to the end of it. Then please turn to page 1, 2, 3 at the back of the book, mark your answers, purple pen your answers, and highlight key words and phrases that will help you revise that in the future. Lesson 3. All right, PowerPoint 9.5, winners and losers. Use notes from revision guidebook, page 23, economic development, and page 25, costs and benefits. That will help you. I'll upload them. And it says to design 2 memory aids or mind maps like we did on India, something in the bottom, a bit of a spidergram style, okay? The first one you've got to put together is costs, that's of course disadvantages, and benefits, the advantages of rapid economic development. Now bear in mind the key word here is rapid. That means growing very quickly. Okay, so it isn't an advantage or a disadvantage over years and years and years. We're talking about very fast. The second one is costs and benefits, in other words, disadvantages and advantages of changing international relations. Now, we studied India on this, didn't we? And we looked at India having this fantastic relationship, especially with trade in the EU and the USA, but locally with China and Pakistan in particular, not particularly popular. So when we've got this rapid economic development and India need water and they basically detour a river, take the water out of it so that no water goes to Pakistan, you can imagine the issues that are created. Right, the week starting the 20th of April, this is when we went back from Easter. Okay, and this was a project week. So all 3 lessons led to the one thing that it had to do. You were given the PowerPoint Online 9.6 Life in Dharavi, and this is the start of our challenges of an urbanising world. So when we say challenge of an urbanising world, it's the next unit on our course, and we're looking at cities, not countries anymore. So we're going to look at Dharavi. Now let's just think about this. India. It's got billionaires, loads of billionaires, but it's also got a huge population. There are over 1 billion people in India that are below the poverty line. Billion, 1,000 million, okay? Now, within that country, there are 40 million that are so poor that they live in slums. Now, we're actually going to focus on Mumbai, which is a city in Maharashtra on the west coast of India. Very, very rich city. But within that place, in the inner city, there's a slum called Dharavi. And this slum is only 1 mile square, about the same size as the office blocks in London. And in that 1 mile square, they've got 1 million people living there. So you can imagine the issues that creates. Now, slide 6 in this PowerPoint presentation is Slumming It, or it has a link to Slumming It, the video by Kevin MacLeod. It doesn't necessarily load very well. So if you go to YouTube and look up Slumming It, Kevin MacLeod Part 1, you can watch it. It's about 40 minutes long, so one of your lessons is just watching that. Whilst you're doing so, please, just do 2 columns. One, challenges, in other words, disadvantages, problems, and the other one, opportunities, advantages, benefits, and take some notes as you go through. 27th of April, okay? So lesson 1, we should load up PowerPoint Online 9.7 Urbanisation. There are various tasks to complete whilst you go through it, but when you get to slide 10, there's a video. Okay, when you watch that video, what I need you to do is to take 5 bullet points that you found interesting. This is talking about people moving from rural areas to urban areas. That process is called migration. If it's within one country, it's internal migration. If you leave a country, you obviously exit the country, so you emigrate. If you come into the country, you come in, you immigrate, okay? If you move within the country, it's just called internal migration. People move from rural to urban areas because the urban areas, as a country develops, start to grow and offer more opportunities. So, from the actual little presentation you watch or the video, please put 5 key interesting facts that appeal to you and stand out, okay? Just see if I've got the sheet around the right way. 27th. Okay, lesson 1 continued. All right, if you've got the revision guide, page 26, urbanisation trends will help you. All right, okay, and also the next step here is to go to your revision workbook, turn to page 26, urbanisation trends, and answer the questions. On this, you've got a guided question, number 4. So it starts your answer, you finish it off. Go to page 124, mark it, purple pen it, highlight keywords and phrases that you wish to remember for the future. Lesson 2 that week, you had a PowerPoint, online 9-8 megacities. So you're going to focus on 3 key terms: million cities, megacities, world cities. I hope million city is quite sort of like, well, what do I say, Ronseal says what it does on the tin. Million city has 1 million people. A megacity is 10 times that size. 10 million. Now, London doesn't even reach that unless you take the whole of the N25 and everything inside. However, take somewhere like Tokyo with a population of 37 million, and you can see that's easily within that category. We'll deal with world city in a moment. So you're going to get definitions and write them down. There are tasks throughout that PowerPoint, so complete those tasks as you go. When you get to slide 9, there's a video with tasks attached to it. Please complete that, okay? One thing you've got to do then is a definition for a world city. Now, a world city is a city that, irrespective of its size, has disproportionate influence. So in other words, it might be small, but it's got massive influence. It's disproportionate. It's not in line with its size. You then complete revision workbook, page 27, megacities. There's a guided question on page or on question 2, so you just complete it. You turn to page 124, mark, purple pen, highlight. I hope you're pausing and doing things and then coming back to me again. Lesson 3, got a PowerPoint, online 9-9 London, a world city. Now this is only a single sheet. What you've got to do here is produce a revision aid of some description. It could simply be a mind map. It could be based on the style that you're given. But what you've got to do here is you've got to look at the 4 key things that they link to London. London is a world city. The first one is investment. Now, believe it or not, London deals, it might be disproportionate for a size, its influence, but it actually deals with half the world's money every year. So it's a massive financial centre. Air traffic wise, the biggest airport in the world is Dubai. But if you add the London airports together, more people travel by plane in and out of London than anywhere else in the world. Decision making. So, what we're talking about here is it's got a massive political influence around the world, but if London makes a decision, it tends to affect the rest of the country, and because of its financial clout, it can affect the rest of the world. Okay? Political influence tends to be linked to an awful lot of things like its old Commonwealth, its old empire. Those countries were conquered and taken over by the British Empire in years gone by. Everything from the USA, Canada, parts of Africa, India, China, Australia, New Zealand, massive empire. Okay, now if a decision is made in England, it will often have political influence on what happens in those countries still. Okay, good. So, 4th of May, okay? It was bank holiday week, so there were only 2 lessons to complete. Lesson 1, you used online 9-10 push and pull factors. Now, there were tasks to complete throughout this, and on the video, slide 5 shows people in Africa that are moving from rural to urban locations. I want 5 bullet points, please, listing 5 key push factors of what made them get out of the area they left. Okay? There are 3 video clips on slide 11. You need to produce a fact file on each of the 3 cities they talk about. So in other words, the first one is Kampala. You put a little title, Kampala. And what I need to know about Kampala, which is the capital of Uganda, by the way, is its location, its population size, and the reasons for its population growth or its population decline. The second one, fact file on New York City, location, population, reasons for its population growth or its decline. Now, be careful with New York City. Did it go up and down? Check it out very carefully in the handouts that you were given. The third one's a strange one. It's Detroit City, Detroit in the USA. Detroit, very famous because it's known as Motor City. It's where all General Motors, and they make the cars in America. It's also famous for making soul music in the 60s and 70s. And the title Motor Town became Motown, and it was Motown Records. So look at those and look at how strange Detroit is. Lesson 2, you should go to PowerPoint Online 911, employment sectors, and there are tasks throughout this. Slide 2 though gives you a big table of many different types of jobs. Your first task is to try to give them a letter A or a letter B. Split them into 2 lists. Decide what you're going to class it from. You know, how are you going to put them in lists? What are you going to choose? But you make them A and B. Go through it, and then I want you to write down why you've done that, what you picked as your idea for separating these jobs. We then talk about how does a government pay for things. If we've got to pay for education, pay for the police force, pay for anything, the military is huge expense. Where does the government get its money from? It gets it from income tax. Now, it can only get it from income tax if people are registered to pay income tax. In a country like India, where you've got huge numbers moving from rural areas to urban areas, those people go to those urban areas trying to get a job because they think the streets are paved with gold. When they get there, they find out they're underskilled or undereducated to get those jobs. And many of those people end up taking jobs in what's called informal positions or informal employment. That means they're not registered. They don't pay tax. That sounds great, but if they have an accident, they don't get sick pay. If they get killed at work, the family don't get any money for it. So you're not protected, okay? Normal jobs where you pay tax are called formal employment, okay? Now we need to recap here on the fact that there are different employment sectors. And what we're going to be looking at is primary, which are people that work with the land or the sea, like fishermen, farmers, miners, quarrying people, getting stone. We've got secondary, which are making things from these. So it might be fish fingers. It could be making bricks, okay? And we've got people that are tertiary workers, which do the service jobs. They might be delivering those things to the shops. They might be serving you in the shops because they're creating or giving you a service. I'm now a tertiary worker because I am giving you a service during this video. Police force, financial brokers, bankers, people are service industry people, okay? When a country really develops, it can go into quaternary employment. This is where it researches. At the moment, we've got COVID-19, this horrible virus that's killing many people in the world. But there are people out there researching an antidote to this. That's quaternary. That's a much higher level of employment. It involves great skill, great education to do it. So it's generally only countries that are very well developed that can do that sort of thing. Okay, then basically you are asked to produce a simple mind map And you can use your handout of your photocopied stuff from page 90 to 91 to produce a list of jobs, the types of jobs that you are likely to find in Kampala, in Uganda, a developing country, the types of jobs you're likely to find in New Delhi, which is the capital of India, and the types of jobs you think you might find in New York. Okay. That's that for that one. What I want you to get into the habit of doing though, number one, get all this stuff finished, but start to look at handing it in to me. You can contact me online if you have any questions on mcronin@prioriacademy.co.uk. But if you want to hand your work in, go to OneDrive, go to Year 9, go to Hand In, go to Geography, go to Year 9 work for Miss Bradford and Mr. Cronin. I hope that helps. Use the whole of this week, please, to consolidate your work, pausing this video as you have to as you go. All right. I will now put online all the revision guidance pages that you require. Okay. Stay safe. Contact me if you need to, and I'll be in touch next week. Bye-bye.